we're probably the oldest people you're going to see up here on this picture machine. We moved into Flossmoor in 1953 from New York, where I was employed by Time Incorporated on Life magazine. And we had how many kids at that time?
4.
Well, we had 4 kids at that time, so they kind of directs your attention to what we were interested in, a school. The proposition came up that the Cardinal wanted to investigate whether a church would be successful there. And we formed up a committee of interested people. This committee that I was on was an investigative committee. This was prior to the time there was an approval to put up the church. And this group was formed mainly by a man by the name of Trabucco.
When he would stand up at the meeting, and they'd look up and they'd, "Sit down, Fanning," because they know what he was going to say.
Trabucco and Wolf and some of those guys were older.
Yeah.
And they wanted a church while they were still alive. And they didn't care much about the school. If they had kids, they were raised and gone.
Yeah.
And so we went around, we did what we called a feasibility study. And went around, interviewed, tried to find out whether people would donate. And while we were doing it, we were really anxious to get our own setup. So we rented a room over in the Civic Center in downtown Flossmoor.
The caretaker of the building and his wife had quite a spread up there on the 2nd floor. When they heard about us trying to find a place to have Mass, they said, "Well, we have a room that we really don't use, and so you can have it." And so it was like a living room.
And set it up with a card table, and we started to have Sunday Mass. Father Burke agreed to come over and say one Mass on Sunday in our little mission setup up there. And that was great. I mean, we felt like we were out pioneering, you know. And the real organizer, the real motivator behind the whole thing was a man by the name of Vince Trabucco. And Vince, while we were over in the Civic Center over there, he brought in a statue, a small statue of Infant Jesus of Prague. Apparently he had a great devotion to the Infant of Prague. And they had traveled a lot and had been to the shrine. And he brought it over to the mission room, and that's how we got the name Infant Jesus of Prague.